In the previous season, I've shown you how I installed an experimental hugelkultur bed that promises better water-holding capabilities and low-maintenance plant growth than regular garden beds. It's a simple concept: logs, twigs, and other organic matter covered in soil, making a mound. Setting it up was akin to fighting a battle against vines, brambles, brush, and a stubborn tree. And while my first season harvest has been a success, perhaps due to initial boost of fertilizer, we will find out how it's doing now. With the help of my sister, brother-in-law, and enthusiastic nephew, we'll plant it and see how it fares this time. I'm Siloé Oliveira, and finding sustainable ways of growing more food organically is one of my main interests as I work to build my own suburban homestead. This is the second season in the Hugelkultur bed, and I want to see what's happening underneath the soil, see if the principles are working as they should. Let's take a look. After last season's prolific harvest, this hugel bed was basically left to its own devices until early spring. It's time to clean up the collapsed plant support, which worked wonderfully until close to the end of the season. Looking at it now, it may seem to be a failing heap of messiness, but there is method to the madness. Well, seeing me struggle here doesn't really sell the idea for one, especially if I call it low maintenance. I've gotta admit, well, I'm not a good salesman anyways, but consider that I've basically neglected this bed and this plant support last year and only got down here to harvest beautiful tomatoes. They truly grew themselves, watered themselves, and trellised themselves. I've gotta say, that is good for me and totally worth a few minutes of effort putting it in the beginning of the season and taking it down later on. I wasn't able to put in a late summer crop or fall crop into this bed since it is rather far from my house, and I got busy doing many other things. It's no wonder that the ground ivy, which actually grows during winter, took over and covered the ground. Using a rake, I clean up the bed to plant a new crop. Since the ground ivy hasn't had time to put up deep roots, they are getting dislodged rather easily. Even before I dig into the soil, I can feel that it is more malleable, letting the weeds be easily removed. This is a completely different situation from how the soil down here was before building this hugel bed. It's the moment of truth. Has the soil in this hugelkultur bed already improved in the second season? There's only one way to find out: digging in. It's incredible how much softer the soil has become. It yields to the shovel without showing much resistance. It displays a deep brown color. It's a joy to dig soil like this, not the strenuous process of before. I can get used to this. The deeper I dig, the more bits of twigs breaking down I find. They are spongy and full of water and dismantle just by touching. This sponge-like texture in the wood is what's supposed to hold the water and nutrients, making the hugel bed water resistant and fertile. It's a great sign that the system is working as it should. Besides, just from a resource management position, burying garden debris is the way to go. It is much more efficient than using a chipper, and it breaks down much quicker than just a plain old brush pile. It's incredible how little of the original twigs I can see. Now, a traditional hugelkultur bed like the ones pioneered by Sepp Holzer must be even more incredible. Ideally, you use large decomposing logs and build them in a much larger scale. My bed is a far cry from the ideal, but I already see great benefits from the soil texture alone. I don't want to disturb much of it. I'm digging in mostly to take a look at its underground development. The greatest thing I can already see is the living activity in the soil. Judging from the fat, healthy-looking earthworms flourishing in the ground, it seems that this is really going somewhere. I'll leave my warm friend here to continue his healthy breakfast. It's still a little early to plant the warm season crops I plan to. I'll just need a couple of weeks to let the weather warm up. I'll store the plastic trellis until I need it later on in the season. The most important thing is that now that I have uncovered the soil, I cannot leave it uncovered, allowing weeds to take over and rain to compact the soil, causing erosion. The golden rule for soil building is to always have something growing in it or covering it. If you don't take the opportunity, nature will, and soon enough you'll have weeds growing everywhere. I can't let this happen. I won't let it happen. Fast forward a few weeks, actually a couple of months, and my sister and her family came to visit, and they were eager to help out planting tomatoes. The problem was, I did let it happen. I know, shame. After uncovering the soil in early spring due to a combination of a super hectic schedule and laziness to get all the way down here to plant the hugel bed, about 9 weeks passed and the weeds grew like a fury. Good thing I had help tame this viney behemoth. My nephew Nathan really got into the battle. He couldn't let the green monster win. Whatever my sister has of gentleness, he's gained in intensity. But he was having a blast. I had started tomatoes and they were desperately needing a home. The plants were showing signs of stress. Good thing my family was there to help. The 9 weeks of uncovered soil neglect did take a toll. Besides major weed growth, the top crust of the soil got compacted due to a rainy spring. So much for low maintenance. Don't make this mistake. My sister Lillian has a YouTube channel where she shares craft ideas, kids activities, as well as healthy recipes where you can learn some Portuguese. Make sure to check it out by clicking on the link. There is something magical about planting a garden with kids. It's a great way to make them be active and exercise. It's a place where they can let their imaginations run free while they do something productive. They learn to be patient and careful. They learn to value life and food. They tend to be more open to trying vegetables. They feel pride in knowing that the simple action of digging a hole and putting in a seed will yield nourishment and joy. They learn the value of work. They grow to become better humans. Childhood asks for sun. Childhood asks for grass. It asks for water and mud and rainbows and garden hoses. Childhood asks for dirty fingers and earthworms. Eating tomatoes right out of the vine. Childhood asks for gardens. Make sure to watch out for new episodes where I'll share how this Hugelkultur bed is faring in its season 2. Remember to send your questions and comments to seedofchoice@gmail.com, and don't forget to subscribe to Suburban Homestead.